Offering our collective salutations to the Almighty, revered elders, devotees from around the world, staff and students, a very good morning and welcome to the One World, One Family World Cultural Festival. Like a radiant pearl gleaming upon the equatorial seas, Singapore stands as a symbol of progress, peace, and harmony. Lovingly known as the Lion City, Singapore roars not with might alone, but with mindfulness, where every street tells a story of perseverance and every skyline speaks of dreams realized through discipline and dedication. From the serenity of the botanic gardens to the futuristic brilliance of Marina Bay Sands, from the bustling charm of Little India and Chinatown to the tranquil beauty of Sentosa Island, Singapore reflects a seamless blend of culture, innovation, and compassion. In the light of the ancient Indian wisdom, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, Singapore reminds us that when cultures connect and communities collaborate, humanity blossoms into its highest potential. As part of the Universal Wisdom for a United World Lecture Series, we are honored to welcome Venerable Bhikkhu Mukkadipa from Singapore, a respected monastic of the Sambodhi World Sangha who has played a remarkable role in spreading the teachings of original Buddhism across continents. Venerable earned his Doctor of Philosophy in Operational Research from the United Kingdom and served with distinction in both the public and private sectors in Singapore. However, guided by a deep inner calling, he chose to retire in the year 2000 to dedicate his life wholly to the study and practice of Buddha's teachings. He was ordained as a novice in Australia under Master Bhikkhu Buddha Datu, and since then he has traveled extensively to Australia, Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, Myanmar, Cambodia, England, Malaysia, and Singapore, spreading the light of Dhamma. In 2012, he received his higher ordination in Sri Lanka. A profound teacher and practitioner, Venerable has conducted numerous Buddhism courses in English and Mandarin, covering deep subjects such as cessation of suffering, the noble truths, and dependent originations. He continues to guide seekers through online Dhamma classes and meditation sessions via the Dharma Chakra Society. With reverence, we welcome Venerable Bhikkhu Mukkadipa.
Good morning, dear brothers and sisters of the Sai family. I'm humbled to share Sanjay's story, a young man in the ashram's kitchen, heart ablaze with dreams of perfect service, yearning for divine praise. Welcome to Unity of Religion, Love of Humanity, Sanjay's Karma Yoga journey. We'll walk through his struggle with unrealistic expectations, guided by universal wisdom from Vedic, Buddhist, and modern psychology, watching him rise, fall, and bloom anew in selfless service, embodying love for all. Sanjay's ashram days are filled with seva, stirring pots, arranging candles, and singing bhajans. Belief lies the hunger for praise, joy, perfection, and spiritual greatness. This pulls him from Karma Yoga's truth, Bhagavad Gita 2.47. You have a right to perform your duty, but not to the fruits of action. Will Sanjay hear it? Join me to find out. Sanjay begins his ashram life with great zeal, but his idealism collides with reality, guiding him through 5 emotional stages, our EPICR roadmap of seva. Epics stand for escalation, panic, introspection, and collapse, charts his descents, as he drifts from Karma Yoga's selfless path. Yet R, the recovering path, leaves him via core strategies, restoring clarity and purpose. This model not only maps Sanjay's journey, but also help us notice these emotional shifts in ourselves and others. We'll review core, the strategies to lift Sanjay from shadow to light later. Walk with me through these stages from breakdown to breakthrough. Here is what each path looks like. Escalation, greed rises, panic, introspection. Sorry, I think the slides is a bit delayed, if you don't mind. Escalation, greed rises, panic, frustration grows, introspection, despair deepens, collapse, crisis looms, recovery, peace blooms through 13 core interventions. Each path builds complex emotions. The detailed version has 38 emotional states and 13 interventions. Today, we explore a simplified version with only 22 emotional states and 6 interventions, capturing Sanjay's core struggle and recovery. Deeper layer await future aspiration. Step forward to examine this escalation path first. Escalation path, the sequence. Slide please. Boredom, greed, and frustration. See how this unfolds in Sanjay's kitchen. Boredom settles as Sanjay chops carrots. The same rhythm, the same steam. Greed sparks. He pictures Sadhguru's smile. Imagine a meal so wonderful that it draws divine praise. I think the slide is delayed again, if you don't mind. Oh no, the rice burns. Smoke stings his eyes. Frustration takes over. His thoughts spiraling in the kitchen's chaos. He mutters, "What is the point if no one even notices?" Disheartened, Sanjay flees to the courtyard seeking redemption. As Sanjay's frustration peaks, the escalation path fades, and the panic path begins to stir, pulling him deeper into turmoil. Panic path, the sequence. Frustration, envy, anger, anxiety, and confusion. Join me to witness how this unfolds in Sanjay's courtyard chaos. Sanjay's heart roars from the kitchen's frustration, yearns for purity as he places candle in the courtyard. Each flicker a prayer for divine grace. But envy stings when a senior Sevada praises another's plan. Brilliant work. Anger surges and he snaps. Why overlook me? Anxiety tightens his chest. Confusion clouds the candlelight, blurring his vision. His quest for purity leaves him feeling unseen. Sanjay stumbles to the prayer hall, seeking comfort in bhajans. The panic path storms subside, giving way to the introspection path where Sanjay's inner doubts begin to surface. Introspection path, the sequence, confusion, doubt, despair, and burnout. Follow along to explore how this unfolds in Sanjay's prayer hall descents. Sanjay sits in the prayer hall, bhajan book open, sandalwood in the air. Dreaming each note brings joy. but confusion cleans. Why isn't singing enough? Doubt whisper, am I spiritual enough? Despair quiets his voice and burnout dims his light. It is like a raining day fading purpose. His seva stumbles here. As the introspection path deepens his shadows, the collapsed path looms, testing Sanjay's spirit to its core. Collapsed path, the sequence, burnout, shame, mental health crisis. Come along to trace how this unfolds at Sanjay's breaking point. Burnout from joyless bhajan hollows Sanjay. Seeking redemption, he returns to the kitchen. A pot sleeps, shame burns. I failed Sadhguru. A mental health crisis engulfs him, freezing him before the temple. Let's uncover the roots of his fall. Sanjay's suffering arises from egoic attachment to a spiritual self-image, an inner need to feel praised, pure, joyful, and perfect. Beneath his seva lies a quiet bargain. If I serve flawlessly, I will become someone worthy of love and divine approval. This chase builds a wall of expectation, feeding frustration and despair until it collapses. Step forward to discover core strategies to lift him from shadow to light and guide his recovery. Core strategy to overcome unrealistic expectation. Beneath the ancient banyan tree, Sanjay collapses. His heart, heavy with shattered dreams. The weight of this expectation crushes him, burying his light in shadows. But in this darkness, a faint light glimmer, the core strategies: cognitive, outreach, relaxation, and exposure. Cognitive and reflective practices reshape thoughts and align action with wisdom. Outreach, social and communal practices foster connection and belonging. Relaxation, physiological and calming practices soothe the body and mind. Exposure, expressive and restorative practices channel emotion creatively and restore balance. Core offers a lifeline to Karma Yoga's truth, guiding Sanjay towards selfless service. Core strategy with 6 out of 13 interventions. Cognitive. These include cognitive reframing to reframe setbacks and reflective journaling to explore inner truths. Outreach. This includes social connection to build bonds with others and gratitude meditation to find purpose through gratitude and service. Relaxation. This includes breathing practice to stabilize emotion. Exposure. This includes nature exposure to find peace in natural settings. These 6 interventions guide Sanjay from shadow to light, restoring his heart for selfless service. There are 7 other interventions not covered today: narrative reframing, purpose reflection, mindfulness meditation, communal ritual, relaxation practice, creative expression, and arts immersion. How core transform emotional struggles? A toolkit to restore peace in Karma Yoga. With course framework, Sanjay finds calm through 6 practices, restoring his heart for selfless service. Core sparks hope in early struggles, guiding him to recovery. For example, cognitive reframing. Reframing greed as serving food is my offering shifts perspective. Reflective journaling, writing on what is my true contentment, cools greed. Social connection, a warm chat with a volunteer builds connection. Gratitude meditation, meditating on gratitude for serving others cools greed. Breathing practice, deep breathing calms turmoil. Nature exposure, standing in the ashram garden soothes despair. Core blends ancient wisdom and modern psychology to guide Sanjay towards selfless service. How core works, anchored in wisdom. Sanjay's journey from struggle to selfless service isn't unique, and core lights the way with timeless wisdom. This table shows how our 6 interventions draw from the Vedic tradition, Buddhist teaching, and modern psychology. Cognitive reframing. Reflect Gita's call to act without attachment to results. Buddhist right view through dependent origination and cognitive behavioral therapy create balanced adaptive thoughts. Reflective journaling echoes the Gita's advice, inquire from Sadguru with reverence. Buddhism's Satipatthana Sutra fosters mindful reflection. Expressive writing research, cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, and positive psychology show journaling reduces negative thought, processes emotions, and builds purpose. Social connection reflects the Vedic prayer, the world is one family, echoing the Buddhist Sangha community as one of the Buddha's triple gems and psychological evidence that belonging heals. Gratitude meditation reflects Gita's teaching, a kind friend to all living entities. Buddhism Metta Sutra cultivates loving kindness and gratitude. Psychology supports gratitude for well-being. Breathing practice draws from Gita's teaching, equalizing inflow and outflow breath. Buddhism Anapanasati Sutra fosters breath awareness to stabilize emotion. Psychology confirms diaphragmatic breathing reduces arousal. Nature exposure mirrors the Vedic teaching, I sustain all beings with my energy. The Buddhist forest monk tradition fosters mindfulness through meditation in natural settings. Mindfulness-based stress reduction shows nature reduces stress. These roots ground core, guiding Sanjay from shadow to light. Let's move forward to see core in action. In the kitchen, Sanjay chases a wonderful meal, but greed for Sadguru's praise spark. Call for escalation, a spark in the dust. Call transforms Sanjay's kitchen struggles, guiding him from frustration to calm through practical steps. For example, cognitive reframing. Reframing boredom as chopping carrots builds patience, eases monotony. Reflective journaling, writing on what is my true contentment, cool screen. Breathing practice, 4-7-8 breathing, calms frustration. Now, venture with me to revisit Sanjay's panic in the courtyard. In the courtyard, envy and anxiety cloud Sanjay's mind. Witness call, calming Sanjay's courtyard storm, guiding him to peace. Call for panic, a beacon in the tempest. Call steadies him, see his candles grow with calm. For example, reflective journaling, writing on why do I feel unseen, clears confusion. Social connection, sharing feelings with a fellow volunteer fosters connection and softens envy. Breathing practice, diaphragmatic breathing for anger and anxiety softens turmoil. Follow along to witness Sanjay's introspection in the prayer hall. In the prayer hall, despair dims Sanjay's song. Call for introspection, a seat in the silence. Call plants hope, watch his voice rise again. For example, cognitive reframing, reframing perspective as singing teachers surrender, leaves confusion. Reflective journaling, writing on what does my heart see, brightens despair and doubts. Nature exposure, sitting quietly by a tree for burnout, revives spirits. Sanjay's skirts collapse age, his song soars. Join me to see how call heals Sanjay's collapse in the kitchen. In the kitchen, a spilled pot fuels burnout and mental health crisis. This is his darkest hour. Call for collapse, a phoenix in the ashes. Call ignites Sanjay's recovering from collapse, restoring hope as he rises from his darkest hour. For example, social connection, outreach to a support service eases shame and crisis. Gratitude meditation, meditating on gratitude for the opportunity to serve, supports mental health crisis recovery. Breathing practice, box breathing for burnout, rebuilds strength. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, Sanjay halts the descent into crisis. His heart mends. We have seen call light Sanjay's way, calming kitchen chaos, easing courtyard turmoil, lifting prayer hall shadows, and sparkling hope from collapse. Now, come along to watch this light bloom fully as Sanjay finds comfort and a dawn of clarity. Step forward to trace the rising dawn, the recovering path, the sequence. Mental health crisis, stabilization, perspective, purpose, connection, calmness, and finally, clarity. From darkness, the lotus of recovery blooms. Even if call wasn't applied during the earlier paths of escalation, panic, introspection, or collapse, it now lifts Sanjay from crisis to recovery. Call for recovery, a dawn, a lotus in the dawns, where once he grabs at perfection. Now he simply serves with joy, with freedom. For example, cognitive reframing. Reframing on effort is my gift reshapes perspective. Reflective journaling, journaling on specific goals anchors purpose. social connection. A meaningful conversation with family builds connection. Gratitude meditation, meditating on gratitude for selfless service sharpens presence and fosters clarity. Nature exposure, nature walk calms crisis, aiding stabilization. Sanjay's heart dances in the joy of karma yoga, anchored in peace. Even as Sanjay finds peace, the path remains dynamic. Call offer tools not to erase struggle, but to navigate it with grace. See him now versus then, calm versus stress. Look at him now, serving gracefully, free from expectation. In dawn's light, Sanjay tends to seva, cooking, serving with ease. He cooks with contentment, handles criticism with confidence, sings with hope. When a spilled pot broke him, he embraces self-acceptance. Sanjay radiates resilience, his heart a beacon of peace. He has woven karma yoga's truth, serve without expectation. Sanjay's journey, he stumbled through expectation. His dances with call tells a story we all know. Haven't we too chased praise, purity, joy, or perfection, only to find disappointment? Yet, Sanjay shows us the way home through cognitive reframing, reflective journaling, social connection, gratitude meditation, breathing practice, and nature exposure. Peace doesn't lie in flawless service, but in showing up, heart open, moment by moment. Thank you for walking with Sanjay. As we leave this path, let's carry Sanjay's lesson forward. May we walk this path together, serve with love, embrace stumbles, and find peace in selfless service. Om Sai Ram, Namo Buddhaya.
We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Venerable for sharing his wisdom and practical insights with all of us this morning. Now, may we invite Sri Venkateshwarlu, Senior Faculty and Subject Matter Expert, to extend our token of gratitude and appreciation to Venerable Bhikkhu Mokkadipa. Now we shall have a short break and reconvene for Satya Darpan.
मङ्गलचरणा गजानना मङ्गलचरणा गजानना मङ्गलचरणा गजानना मङ्गलचरणा गजानना गजवदना शुभानना गजवदना शुभानना गजवदना शुभानना गजवदना शुभानना मङ्गलचरणा गजानना मङ्गलचरणा गजानना विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक गौरीतनया गजानना गौरीतनया गजानना गौरीतनया गजानना गौरीतनया गजानना मङ्गलचरणा गजानना मङ्गलचरणा गजानना गजवदना शुभानना गजवदना शुभानना मङ्गलचरणा गजानना मङ्गलचरणा गजानना विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक गौरीतनया गजानना गौरीतनया गजानना गौरीतनया गजानना गौरीतनया गजानना मङ्गलचरणा गजानना
जय जय हे जगदीश महेशा
जगदीश महेशा
जय जय हे जगदीश महेशा
जय जय हे जगदीश महेशा
जय जय हे कैलासवासा
जय जय हे कैलासवासा
जय जय हे कैलासवासा जगदीश महेशा जय 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 शिव साई महेशा
जय 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 शिव साई महेशा
जय
साई महेशा
जय हे शंभो साईनाथा
जय हे शंभो साईनाथा
जय हे शंभो साईनाथा
जय हे शंभो साईनाथा
जय 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 हे अनाथनाथ
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 जय जय जगदीश महेशा
जय जय हे जगदीश महेशा
जय जय हे कैलासवासा
जय जय हे कैलासवासा
जय जय हे जगदीश महेशा
जगदीश महेशा
जय 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 शिव साई महेशा
जय शिव साई महेशा
जय हे शंभो साईनाथा
जय शंभो साईनाथा
जय 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 हे अनाथनाथ जय 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 हे अनाथनाथ जय जय हे जगदीश महेशा
सोहम ध्यान करो सोहम ध्यान करो सोहम ध्यान करो ध्यान करो सद्गुरु साई ध्यान करो सद्गुरु साई ध्यान करो सद्गुरु साई ध्यान करो सद्गुरु साई ध्यान करो सोहम ध्यान करो ध्यान करो सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु सोहम विष्णु सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु सोहम साई ध्यान करो साई ध्यान करो सोहम साई ध्यान करो साई ध्यान करो सोहम आत्मा सोहम ध्यान करो सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु सोहम साई ध्यान करो सोहम साई ध्यान करो सोहम आत्मा शिव परमात्मा शिव परमात्मा ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो सोहम ध्यान करो
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our collective salutations at the lotus feet of our Master, Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai, revered elders, devotees from across the globe, staff and students, a very good morning and welcome to Satya Darpan. In his last discourse, Sadguru commenced chapter 18 by elucidating the nature of Brahman as described in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Satyam, the unchanging truth, Jnanam, pure knowledge, and Anantam, infinite. He further explained that those who have realized this truth find all their desires fulfilled, or rather, they are left with no desires at all. The first shloka says, Yasya bodhodaye tavat swapnavat bhavati brahmaha tasmai sukaika rupaya namashantaya tejase. Sage Ashtavakra tells King Janaka, when knowledge dawns, all delusion appears like a dream. Salutations to that which is of the nature of bliss alone, peaceful and self-effulgent. Sadguru explained that seeking lasting happiness in the external world is futile, like pursuing the joy of a dream even after waking up. Hence, one must live with the clarity that all privileges of life are divine gifts and does not own them. Reiterating that this divine mission demands only yogajivis, Sadguru emphasized that every action must be performed in the spirit of non-doership. He concluded by explaining the fifth shloka, which describes the state of the self in four aspects. Nasankochat, it is without limitation. Nirayasam, it is effortless. Nirvikaram, it is without any distortions. And Niranjanam, it is sinless. We now pray to Sadguru to bless us all with his divine discourse on the Ashtavakra Gita.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै शांति शांति शांति।
As we keep walking on the spiritual path, both things will happen. That slowly and steadily you become conscious of all that is happening in your body and mind, your emotions, your surroundings. Earlier, one was living mindlessly or suddenly getting excited or deviated. But now every small deviation would be a conscious deviation. One would know that one is deviating from this path, and that awareness becomes stronger and stronger as you walk on this path. Like they say, ignorance is bliss. So earlier, before reading a text like Ashtavakra Gita, one would continue to do what one is doing ignorantly. because one is not even aware that they are doing wrong. They are so lost in doing that the awareness itself is not there in them. But after reading these shlokas, one becomes conscious. If there is a deviation from that state of peace and equanimity, then one becomes aware that this is a deviation and it needs to be corrected at once. I think that is the very first thing that happens to anybody on this path. And if it's still not happening, then either you have already become jnani or you are still ignorant. Between the two, there can't be a third way. Either you're so wise that you never deviate from this path, so you don't care, you live a carefree life. Or you are an ignorant person who does not realize even now that he has not improved at all. He still believes that he is right. The second thing that happens on this is, once you know that you are deviating from this path, you immediately take measures, take steps to correct it. You don't simply watch it by saying, I'm deviating. After all, I'm supposed to be a witness to everything. I have to do nothing about it. No, you will do something about it, which is to consciously practice coming back to the state of equanimity. Only when you know where you are going wrong can you correct your mistake. If you don't even know that you are making a mistake, or you don't even agree that you are making a mistake, then there is no correction possible at all. So this scripture is like the guidepost. It is like the lighthouse, which helps us navigate our mind and thoughts and emotions and come to the shores of peace and equanimity. And every time we lose our way in the sea, in the dark, this lighthouse guides us that this is the way to the shore. And that is why these scriptures are very, very important. They are known as the eyes of the person, because with eyes we see, like that scriptures also show us the reality, the truth. And that is why it is very important to read and do swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means self-study. One is you learn from the guru, read a book, and then you sit and contemplate on it. And every scripture would mean something to you in a different way at different points in time, based on your evolution. That is why somebody who has read, I think, Ashtavakra 3 or 4 times, the person said every time he read it, it meant something different. There was more depth, there was more clarity, and there were different perspectives that came to him. So the more you read on it, it's like chewing on the sugar cane. The more you chew on it, the more juice comes out of it. And that is how every time you do this, you know there is more to be learned, more to be understood. Especially here, I do not know whether they sell too much of sugar cane juice, but if you go towards north, sugar cane, they would make juice out of it. So they have a small cart in which there is a machine which they turn, so it kinds of crushes the sugar cane and takes out the juice. And we used to think as children, oh, that's enough juice out of this sugar cane. But that vendor won't leave it. He will put that crushed sugar cane again through the same machine. And again some more juice will come out to all our surprise. And then we think, now we had enough of juice coming out of it. He'll put it again. And then again. And 7 or 8 times he would put it till not a single drop of juice is left in that cane. That should be the pursuit of sadhaka. Till he attains the very last drop of the knowledge that comes out of this book, should not give up studying. And for that you have to repeat. Once you have studied, go back, study again, then study again. And because of the situations around you that are changing, as you are evolving, this book would mean more things to you, different things to you. And you must not lose it. Our children are very good at chewing these drumsticks. Drumstick sambar if you make, how they chew it. What drumsticks, grandfather also cannot recognize that it was a drumstick. They crush it to the hilt. Nothing is left out of it, a few fibers here and there. That is the idea. You must enjoy the scriptures and you must chew it in the sense you must contemplate in it, masticate it, assimilate it. Not a drop should be wasted of this opportunity. So think like this and then study Ashtavakra, and everybody would understand it differently based on their present status in life, present evolution, progress on the spiritual path. And when you grow, maybe after 10 years you read it again, it would mean something altogether different because you have grown. Scripture has not changed, but the context in which you are reading it has changed. And so now it means different to you. So think like that and you have to keep reading. Learning is a lifelong process. Till you have attained jnana, there is no giving up reading scriptures. You have to keep reading because that keeps reminding us and keeps us on the path. Even Jnanis read scriptures. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had a copy of Ashtavakra Gita with him. Not that he needed to read Ashtavakra Gita or he needed to learn, but he would always keep that by his bedside. And often he will call Vivekananda, who was Narendra, and ask him to read the book. And he will enjoy the shlokas and lose himself in the joy of listening to Swami Vivekananda reading it. And he did not need it really. Ramakrishna did not read the scripture for learning anything out of it. He read the scriptures for the simple joy of reading it, for the sake of enjoying the truth that is there in this book. And that truth will make him rejoice. That is how Jnanis also read scriptures. Nobody gives up. Only Ajnanis are the ones who either think I don't need to read scripture, or they think that I cannot give up reading scriptures. Both cannot be possible. Jnanis read it for the joy of it because they know the truth, and they read it for the sake of teaching others. But as I also am reading this over and over again, it is showing me new perspectives, new dimensions, new facets. From 2020 when we read it first time to now 2025, a lot of things have happened, a lot of water has flown under the bridge, as they say. And now if you see the scripture or read it, it means totally a different thing. So it was like a preliminary study, and now this is like a final study or a serious study. So we keep reading this and we keep learning from the scriptures, and we keep conveying our gratitude to those great ones who left behind this trail for us to walk, without which where we would have gone? We would have lost ourselves in the forest of this samsara. But because their footprints are there, we are able to walk and reach. Footprints on the sands of time, as H.W. Longfellow says. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. So that is the idea, that these are footprints of Ashtavakra that we are walking on, and slowly, steadily, as we keep walking, we will definitely reach and realize. That is the idea. We had, where were we? Which shloka we finished last time? I didn't put the mark. So in the last one, beautiful 4 adjectives of self were given by Ashtavakra. Nirvikalpam, Nirayasam, Nirvikaram and Niranjanam. 4 beautiful qualities. Though there is no qualification to the self, it is pure, it is unqualified, without any attributes. But for the sake of understanding what it would be like, that is how he says Nirvikalpam. It is without any vikalpa or choice. It is what it is. There are no two to choose from. This is better than that. No, self is one and the same at all times. So it is choicelessly divine. It is same. Then Nirayasam, effortless it is. Now we are thinking to realize self, so much of effort is being put. People go to Himalayas, people give up world, people take to so many austerities and even torture their bodies and deprive themselves of so many comforts. Seems like it's a painful, very heavy, demanding and taxing path. But Ashtavakra says no, it is just the opposite. It is Nirayasam, it is effortless. Like we mentioned, it is effortless to be who you are. You don't need effort to be who you are. For example, if you are a woman, you are a woman. You don't need to put efforts to be a woman. Yes, when you want to become a mother, there is an effort. A sister, there is an effort. Or a teacher, there is an effort. Or a wife, there is an effort. But being woman is not an effort. That is naturally, you are that. Like being a man is your nature, you are that. So what is the effort needed for that? No efforts, Ashtavakra says. Being the self requires no effort. Effortlessly you can be divine, he says. Then what is all this sadhana? These are the efforts to forget the wrong things that we have learned. It is to unlearn. Unlearn is the sadhana. Unbecoming is the sadhana. You already are that. So unbecoming and unlearning all the wrong that we have learned is the sadhana. Nirvikaram, it is without any modifications. You are the self at all times, at all places, in all situations. Happy situations, you are not a happy self. And sad situations, you are not a sad self. You are the self. Happy and sad are just superimpositions on that idea of self. Like sometimes when the sunlight passes through a stained glass, it gives colored reflections. But sunlight does not get colored. It appears to get colored. Like that, yourself appears to have been modified. It never gets modified. And Niranjanam, it is sinless. It is pure. No, we have made so many mistakes, so many sins we have committed, knowingly, unknowingly. We chant every day, right? Karacharanakutam va, kayajam, karmajam va, shravananayanajam va, manasam va, paradam, vihitam, avihitam va. These kind of mistakes we have made. Karacharana kritam va, with our hands and feet we have made mistakes. Kayajam, with the body, karmajam va, through the actions. Kayajam, karmajam va, shravana, nayanajam va, through our listening or hearing we have made mistake. Eyes, with eyes also we have seen wrong things and made mistake. Manasamva, with our mind, we might not have physically engaged in any mistake, but mentally we might be thinking of wrong things. So we have made mistakes. And Manasamva, avihitam, vihitam va, knowingly or unknowingly, wantingly or not wantingly, on purpose or without, we have made mistakes, which we might have forgotten also. He says, Sarvame Dakshamasva, all those things, please, O Lord Shiva, forgive. Compassionately forgive me for all that. That is what we do. But it does not mean that you are forgiven by end of the day. By the way, if you are thinking by chanting this, you have written off everything and you are clear. No, it doesn't work like that. No, I have already prayed to Shiva. Shiva has cleaned off all my sins. No. Unless you have learned from it and you do not repeat, the sin doesn't get cleaned. What about all the trips to Ganges? I dipped myself so many times in Ganges. Nothing happened. Your sins will remain as long as you do not consciously get rid of it. That is, unlearn it or unbecome it. Lord helps you. Lord helps you. See, sometimes unknowingly we make a mistake. That is still a mistake. But that is forgivable because you didn't do it on purpose. But knowingly you make a mistake and go and apologize to God saying sorry and let me be free. No, that doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. You have to do paschatapa, that is repentance, and then you have to do correction. You have to correct yourself. As Swami Vivekananda says, don't ask for forgiveness. Ask for self-punishment so that you don't make the mistake again. Once he had some thoughts like this which were not good for him, he went and sat on burning amber to burn his body and teach himself a lesson. And you don't have to do that. But then the idea was that if you are serious about correcting yourself, then you must do something about it and not just pray at the end of the day and hope that everything will be forgotten and forgiven by end of the day just because you went and prayed. It doesn't work like that. Unless you make efforts to not do it again, not repeat, the mistake remains and the consequences remain. So Niranjanam, though you are sinless, you are pure, your self does not get affected by the pure papa or punya, but your mind does get tainted. And the mind then becomes the reason for your happiness and sorrow. It kind of covers the very self which is otherwise sinless. Like the sunlight passing through a red glass appears to be red. Likewise, your mind passing or your soul or self appears to get colored as sorrowful or happy based on the mind and the actions that the body has performed. So for that sake, purity is important. That is why Bhagavan used to say, unity, purity, divinity is the way. Unity of thought, word and deed, purity of mind, and divinity will automatically happen to such a person. So cleaning up the place is important. The thing is already there. It is not seen because it is covered. That is exactly the thought in the next shloka, which is 18.6 on page number 102. It says, Vyamoha matra viratau swarupadana matrataha vita shoka virajante niravarana drishtayaha. Which means vyamoha matra, this whole illusion, if you get rid of it, virataha, get rid of it, and what else? Swarupadana matrataha. And only when you attain the real knowledge of the self, swarupa, the true nature of yours. So you have to get rid of the illusion and attain the true nature of yours. Only then what happens to you? Vita shoka, all your sorrows disappear. Virajante, and you shine forth. It means you are happy. Like when people are happy, their face shines. So because they are happy. And when they are sad, their face is dull and dim and does not shine at all. So it says, Vita shoka virajante. After having gotten rid of your sorrows, you will shine forth. And niravarana drishtayaha. Why? Because now you can see things clearly as there is no obstruction, no veil, no cover at all. You can see things as they are. Mala, Vikshepa, Avarana. These are the three impurities because of which we struggle, it is said in our scriptures. Mala is the dirt of the mind, which is impure thoughts and impure ideas. Vikshepa is the deviation or distortion. And avarana is the cover or veil. Think of it like a mirror that you want to look into and you want to see your reflection. Now, what are the things that stop you from seeing your reflection? One is the mirror is dirty, it's covered with a layer of dust, so it cannot reflect you. So clean up the dust. Second, if the mirror is not steady, it is shaky or it is distorted, its fidelity is not good, then also you will see yourself in a distorted way, not exactly as you are. That is vikshepa, distortions. And third is avarana. If it is covered with a piece of cloth, again you cannot see your reflection because it cannot reflect you. So these are the three reasons why we don't see the self. One, because of impure thoughts. Two, because of distorted, disturbed mind. And three, because of this maya, this illusion that I am the body or I am the mind, I am not the self. These three are the reasons why we don't realize the self. So the path is karmani chitta shuddhartam ekagrartham upasana mokshartham brahma vidyayam iti Vedanta Dindima, it is said. What is the declaration of Vedanta? For the sake of removing the impurity of mind, mala, do good actions, karma. What kind of karma? Nisvartha karma. Selfless actions will remove the impurities from the mind of selfishness. Then how to control the mind and not allow it to deviate or not get distorted, not be disturbed? Then for the sake of dealing with vikshepa, it says ekagrartham upasana. You have to do worship or meditation for the sake of stabilizing the mind, which is otherwise jumping from here to there, from one thought to another. So there is no way you can see the purity, because it's like mirror which is not having fidelity or which is continuously shaking. You can't see yourself clearly. That is the reason of why you can't see the self. And so upasana is required. That is why all these pujas, rituals, all these things have been put in place, so that when we go to a temple, immediately it's very difficult to meditate on the divine. You take a few minutes to settle down. What is this settling down? When you listen to the mantras, slowly focus on the deity, and all your senses are engaged. Your nose is smelling nice flowers and fragrances and scents. Your ears are listening to the mantras and the chants. Your eyes are seeing the form of the divine and the worship. Your hands are engaged in offering prayers and performing rituals. Your tongue is chanting the name of the divine. So this way all five senses are engaged in the ritual. Your mind also starts focusing. After that, slowly you are able to steady your mind. In that steadiness, you are able to experience the self, it is said. So both are important. In the beginning, when Bhagavan used to come and speak to me, he used to give me a little exercise every day. This is what you should do before I come. And what was the exercise? Very simple. Of course, after shower, you come, light a lamp, some incense sticks, offer a little flowers, and then you sit and chant something. So daily I used to chant some stotram for the fun of it. Someday it will be stotram on Guru Ashtakam. Someday it will be on Sathya Sai, what you call Ashtottara Namavali. Someday it will be just chanting Gayatri mantras, a certain numbers. Sometime it will be just singing a bhajan or a song. Something he would ask me to do before our mind gets ready to receive the divine. Because otherwise, even if he is speaking, if my mind is not steady and focused, I will not be able to understand what he is saying. Not understanding is still okay. If I misunderstand, it is worse. So you have to have very pure and steady mind. That was the first qualification that you needed. And he taught purity came from selfless work and steadiness came from some simple rituals of meditation or doing some puja, doing some chanting before the real work began. The third one here it says is illusion of who you are, avarana, as if it is been covered by a veil. When we cover a statue with a piece of cloth, you can't see what the statue is like unless the cover is removed. Like now a Bhagavan statue is there in the hospital lobby, the central hall, but it is covered. I can't see what it is like. Unless I remove the cover, I cannot see. Like that, our ignorance is the cover that is not allowing us to see the self. As if there is a curtain that is there between the self and our experience of the self. And what is this curtain made of? Mind is the curtain, Bhagavan says. Mind is like a piece of cloth where the threads are interwoven vertically and horizontally. And then because of that, we are unable to see what's lying behind it. The lesser the number of threads, the better is the visibility of the thing behind it. And if there are no threads left, it means there is no cloth. You can easily see what is there on the other side, because cloth has fallen apart, because thread by thread you have removed it and disintegrated it. Likewise, a mind which is thoughtless is a mind which is not covering the self. So 3 things we learned. One is purity of mind. You should only have selfless ideas and thoughts, if at all you have. 2, stability of the mind. Stability comes from focus, which comes from devotion or meditation or some ritual. And 3rd comes the clarity of mind. And clarity comes to you when there are no thoughts. It's a clear mind. There are no thoughts in it. So these 3, purity, stability and clarity, these 3 are important to experience the self. If it is covered by your idea of I and mind, the thickly woven threads make it into a thick cloth, not even light passes through it, forget about any visibility on the other side. Or the mind which is continuously fidgety, agitated, always disturbed, unsteady. You cannot use that mind to realize the self. And the mind which is very dirty. What kind of dirt it is? I and mind, selfishness, cruelty, violence. That kind of mind also is not. So this is why mana eva manushanam karanam bandha moksha, it is said. Mind is the reason for one's liberation or one's bondage. And think of the mind as a piece of cloth which is covering the mirror, and we cannot see the reflection because of that. Because it's dirty, it is unsteady, and it is covered. So the mirror is not able to reflect us back. Otherwise we will see ourselves in everywhere. Last time also we read, this person sees only himself in everything. Now does not mean that he sees his physical self. Again, cinematically if you look at it, you will think, oh, everybody is looking like me in the hall when I think of them all as myself. No, that is again superimposing the idea of the body, the form and name on everybody. Like I told the example of a card I made in which in every animal in the picture, human beings, trees, I put Bhagwan's photo. It's very easy. Just draw an orange line and put one black dot on top of it. It's very easy, isn't it? To represent his presence. So that's how we did. But do we experience that is the question. Experience is not about orange and black dots seen everywhere. Experience is the feeling of oneness that comes from inside. It's not a physical representation. Many times in our meditation, we try to superimpose the idea of Bhagwan on everything. There is a Vishnu photo, no, we will put a Bhagwan on it. Many people do this funny photoshopping. Some things I see, I feel horrible. Then because they are so excited, they want to see Bhagwan as everybody. So what they do, they take one Vishwarupa picture from somewhere. And then they cut off the head of that poor Vishwarupa and they stick the head of Bhagwan on top of it. It looks out of place. Or they take Bhagwan's photo and paint it blue and say this is Krishna, Bhagwan in the form of Krishna. Or put a serpent around his neck and put some fake Ganga coming out and say this is Bhagwan as Shiva. Again, what are we trying to do actually? We are trying to superimpose again a form on another form, that's all, because we are excited about forms. Similarly, if you say, I see only oneness everywhere, I see myself in all, and then you start seeing every face as your face, that is not the idea. Again, you are caught in the Maya. In fact, this is a worser Maya because you made the ignorance thicker and denser because of that. When we say, I see, it does not mean you physically see anything. Like when somebody comes and says, are you going to visit my house? What do I reply? I will see. I will see does not mean that I will see when I will visit I will see your house and then visit the house. It is a way of saying that, yes, I would consider. I would think about it. Likewise, when this says, Iha pashyati sa pashyati, the one who sees this alone sees. It does not mean that he sees the same Rama in everything, everybody's face looks like Rama's face. It doesn't work like that. It is a feeling in your heart that you experience that sameness in everyone. The energy, that vibration you feel is of love and compassion in everyone. That is why this is considered as seen. So such a person who is able to see. Why? Because there are no covers. Niravarana. Avarana means cover. Niravarana means the cover has been removed. The veil has been removed. Now you can see what is on the other side. And that is happening to whom? These people. Who are these people? The people who have completely gotten rid of their sorrow and they are always in the state of peaceful equanimity, which is joy, which is the definition of Ananda as per our scriptures. And what else they do? These are the people, they have attained it because they have completely gotten rid of the delusion that I am the body or whatever. That body delusion is gone. They don't believe that they are the body. They know that they are the self, and they are completely believing it. So they've gotten rid of the delusion that I am the body, and have firmly established in the knowledge that you are the self. Such a person is free of all the sorrows. And because of that, such a person is full of peace and equanimity. Why? Because the veil has dropped. That cover is gone. And that is why he can see things as they are. So that is the idea of these amazing shlokas. It doesn't, as I said, there are 3 steps to it. 1, you remove your impurity of the mind, which is selfish thoughts. 2, steady the mind by engaging in some kind of meditative practices, some kind of silent sitting, some kind of contemplation every day on the scripture, on a form, name. These are all the preliminary steps. And 3rd, the veil drops off. Why? Because all your thoughts disappear, like all the threads disappear from a piece of cloth. The cloth is there, is no more there. So you can clearly see. So these 3 should happen to everybody. That is why seva is so important. Selfless service is so important. Not everybody can just purify their mind like that. Physically you may stop hurting or doing wrong, but mentally very difficult to control the mind. It will keep going from one thing to the other. That is why engage in seva, engage in sadhana, which is upasana, which is meditative practices, some worship, some ritual. And the 3rd step is automatically the veil of mind drops away. Once it drops away, you clearly see the truth. And see the truth means, again, don't see it as physical thing. You are experiencing the truth within yourself. And then you feel the oneness in everyone and everything. So that is 3 steps to getting rid of all the delusion and establishing yourself in the truth. 18.7, 107 page number. It says, Samastam kalpana matram tva muktaha sanatanaha iti vijnaya dhirohi kimabhyasyati balavat. Samastam kalpana matram. When somebody realizes that everything is imagination only, everything is a kind of a illusion, magic show, as we said, or a dream. When one realizes this, that person, muktaha sanatana, forever such a person is free. Once you have seen through the falsity of the world, that none of this is truly existent, none of this is real. All the happiness is also not real, the sorrow is also not real. Both of them are false, like in a dream. Last few shlokas talked about it, that think of the world as a dream. Once you think of it as a dream, where is the question of you getting attached to anything? You are free forever. Only when you don't realize it is a dream, you start reacting. Like our children who are playing football in the dream, they kick everybody around them in the night. And some students I know, they will start from their bed and end up 10 beds away from their bed. All night they will be walking or jumping or hopping and do whatever, because they are living the dream, their physical body is following the dream. They have not realized. Only in the morning when they wake up, they realize, how did I land up here? And some people are like with the night, the hands of the clock, they turn like this. Head is up, leg is down. By morning, head is down, leg is up. Why? So they are dreaming something. In the dream, they are experiencing something, but they are unable to realize a dream. So physically, they are reacting to that dream. We had this dog. The dog will dream that he is running. So I would sometimes enter and see. It will be running like this while sleeping on the floor. Because it is dreaming that it is running and playing or catching something. In between, it will also let out small barks, because it is playing with somebody or something in the dream. So, because we are unable to realize it is a dream, we are reacting it. But somebody who sees us from the outside, he laughs. He says, oh, he is dreaming. But the one who is dreaming is so lost in the dream that doesn't realize that it is a dream. So he is suffering through the dream or enjoying through the dream. But the one who sees through this, that this is after all a dream. Like here we have a monk and he comes from the Buddhist traditions. And what did Buddha do? He sat under the Bodhi tree and just went into a state of absorption, contemplation. And what did he realize? That he was born so many times, as so many things. In India, we talk about the Jataka tales. They're all his previous lives. And then he realizes, I have been born so many times, I have done so many things, good, bad, and ugly. Why do I need to repeat this once more? That clarity comes to him. And then there is no more attachment to anything left. That is the idea. That such a person, all this is kalpana matraha, this is just imaginary, this is not real. When I went to somebody's house in Singapore, that little girl wanted to give me some snacks and tea, but not the real one. Those plastic kitchen sets will be there. Now she is making tea in it and I must drink the tea and appreciate it. But there is no tea, real tea there. I have to just lift the cup, then kind of sip a few, whatever sips of tea, and then appreciate that this has turned out to be very good. Then she is happy. Now, if I take it seriously and say, where is the tea? There is no tea. I am not going to say it's good or bad. First you get me tea. People will say, why are you behaving like this? After a child, it's a child's play. You also play along. What is the big deal? Why do you need to be insistent? Suppose the same thing happens to somebody who is elderly. I go to a senior devotee's house. They give me empty cups and say, have a cup of tea. What am I going to tell them? I tell, what is this? Where is the tea in this? But for the child, it is okay. Why? Because the child is playing with me. It's not really that the child also knows that it is playing. There is no real tea. Everybody has played. Now these kitchen sets have become very, very popular. Miniaturized sets. That day Sumit was buying one in the US or somewhere. As in what is that? This is a new trend, new fad in children's toys. That miniature kitchen, miniature, and you can actually put things in and cut things and stuff like that. So that's a new thing. But does it really fill your stomach? No, it is imaginary. Whatever is there is imaginary. Like that he is saying, Kalpana Matram. It's an imagination that you are eating, sleeping, enjoying or suffering. And you are always free. Once you know this, you are free. And what else happens? Iti vijnaya dhiro hi. When the dhira, the discriminating one realizes, is it reality or it is just a play? Oh, it is a play. Okay, let me play along. Then what happens? Kim abhyasiti balavad. Why should he behave like a child? Child behaves like this, right? How does child behave? I am making tea now. Now I will make chapati. After that I will serve you curry. Now I will serve you desserts. Now you enjoy all these things. I have to act like enjoying. But the one who has seen the truth, why should he behave like a child, it is said. Not childlike, childish. Why childish behavior? I want this. If I don't get this, oh, my heart is broken. I want to commit suicide. I don't want to live any longer. All kinds of things I have seen. A little loss here or little gain there. Oh, so much of excitement or so much of depression. But imagine if you are playing with a child with a tea set. Where is the loss? Where is the gain? Is the question. Did you really drink the tea? Did the tea turn out to be bad or good? Was it enjoyable, not enjoyable? These questions don't arise at all. Because there was no tea in the first place and you are just enjoying the game. Jnani lives in the world like this. Somebody comes and says, oh, I lost my dear and near one. He sympathizes with them. Because he knows they are childlike. They do not understand that this death and birth is a part of life and one need not spend so much time lamenting over the loss of people. COVID time, how many messages I received from so many people around the world? They lost their loved ones. No, I can't revive them. They were not expecting also. But they expected a word of solace, some assurance that their loved ones have attained peace or they are liberated or they are okay. And so many of them even felt guilty because their parents were in India, they were abroad. And the parents died here in the hospital and they could not even come to cremate them or perform the final rites. So they would write to get rid of the guilt. That please, hope my parents have forgiven me for I not being there with them. I could not come. We were not allowed to travel. Everything was, that time we had all the borders were sealed. You could not have traveled. So they felt guilty. So that way they wanted to write to me and get an assurance from me that their parents are okay, though they have passed on, and that they don't have anything, no anger for them, or though they are not upset with them. They wanted to know. So even unless I write to them back, don't worry, you did your best, these were the circumstances, you couldn't have done better than that. So you just pray for their highest redemption and be at peace and perform your pujas wherever you are. So they would feel happy about it. Or some people, as I said, who were about to die, they used to write saying that, I have gotten into ICU and I don't think I will make it. I'm getting into multi-organ failure. People are telling that this is not possible. Please bless me that I am liberated and things like that. Now, at that moment, what can I do about it? I cannot tell, Ashtavakra Gita says you are always liberated. There is nothing called bondage. You are the self once and for all. That won't work. Somebody who is struggling for a next breath in ICU, I have to tell them, don't worry, remember the name of God, so that even if you leave the body, you leave with the right attitude. And little bit I can give them courage and solace. So that is all a guru does, like I am playing along with that little child, the tea party game. And I have to play along, saying, yes, it is nice tea and very tasty, and why don't you put a little more milk for me and a little sugar, and she will put that also. All that will be imagination. But I have to play along. Like that, these jnanis live in the world and play along. Some people come excited, jumping with like a child. Oh, I have made a big business and I have got this. My child got a big promotion. I bought a new car and this happened. I have to play along, saying, oh, that's so nice. Very happy that this has happened. I'm sure this is good for you and everybody. They feel happy, they go back. Then the next set of people come. Everything is lost. Everything is gone bad. My children are not listening to me. I'm left alone. I have to empathize. Sometimes it happens in life. This is how life is. And I have to play along with them also. So Jnani just plays along, does not get emotionally involved and invested in anyone and anything. But does not mean that he is not sensitive to them. He is not rude or cold-blooded. The Jnani sympathizes, empathizes. Jnani is sensitive. Like I am sensitive to the child, and I know that unless I react or respond to her tea, she would not be happy. That I understand. But at the same time, am I emotionally getting involved? No, I am not getting involved. But am I nice to the child? Yes, I am nice to the child. So Jnanis will be nice to people, but they will not get emotionally entangled in it. Because that is not the nature of the self. So that is how Jnanis play along. And therefore, their sorrows are not real sorrows, their joys are not real joys. Both are same for them. They just play along. But the ignorant people who come to them to seek relief, refuge, or some encouragement or some appreciation, they do that as it is needed. Like for a child, you do that. Same girl, when she grows up and she invites me for a tea party, I'm sure she'll make some real tea and serve me. But right now, this is what is possible. I cannot do better than this, she cannot do better than this. We appreciate that. That is how a Jnanis have so much of compassion. They can deal with the worst of the people also kindly. And the best of the people also equanimously. They do not get affected by this whole thing. That is the beauty of the life of a realized one. Unrealized one, they keep shaking, swinging all the time. They're hardly steady. So some days are good days for them, some days are bad days for them. And accordingly, they keep swinging between the two. And that goes on and on and on. So the question you have to ask is, how long? If the same girl grows up to become a 20-year-old and still keeps playing with her childish tea set, then mother will come and say, grow up. This is not time for dolls and toys. Better study, stand on your feet, do something useful in life. The same mother who bought the tea set for her and played along, made her feel so good, the same mother will come and tell, enough is enough. You have grown up, put that tea set aside, you go and study. Why has the mother become rude to the child? Has she become insensitive to her feelings? No. The mother is doing what is right. Like that, I am also a guru. Initially, I may say, yes, I know, so sad, this happened to you. I'm very, very sorry about it and things like that. Or sometimes you have very good news. I also enjoy along, we celebrate and maybe party and cut a cake. All that is okay. But sometime I'm going to tell you off. Enough. How long are you going to play with that fake tea set? Enough is enough. How long are you going to go on crying on one day and laughing on another day? How long are you going to run behind things or run away from things? How long are you going to be attached to one thing and detached to another? How long you will go on accepting some things and rejecting the others? How long you will call these as my own and those are not mine? How long this drama of your game will go on like a child? Someday it should stop, and one day I will tell you, enough is enough. But you will feel, oh, earlier he was so nice and kind to me. He was always emoting with me, shed tears when I was sad, laughed with me when I was laughing. Today what happened to you? Suddenly he's become stone. Like, no, nothing happened to me. Problem is that nothing happened to you. That is why the problem is. Something should have happened to you. You should have grown by now. Should have grown by now, and these silly things should not have bothered you anymore. And you shouldn't have bothered me in return with these silly things. But if it goes on and on and on, how long? That is why he is saying, Kim abhyasyati balavat? Why would such a person behave like a child who knows that all this is illusion, these deaths and births and losses and gains and sorrows and joys are passing clouds? Bhagavan used to say, passing clouds, passing clouds. Why would he insist upon any permanence in these things? So Jnani becomes like that, and in the world, the best way to describe a Jnani's life is, he is playing the game of life. That is why Bhagavan says, life is a game, play it. Life is a dream, realize it. Life is love, enjoy it. How simple. And life is a challenge too, meet it. This is the challenge, how to see through the illusion and not get entangled, not get involved there. This is the basics of spirituality. So if you think of the whole world as a dream, it's very easy to deal with it. I know it is not straight away possible because we are so emotionally invested in things, and very difficult to say that all this is not real. But like in a dream also, when we don't realize that we are dreaming, we are emotionally invested only. Everything in the dreams appear to be so real. You emote with it, you cry, you laugh, you feel the pain and gain, everything in the dream. Like that, this is also a dream in which you are feeling all these things. Jnani is aware, he is awakened. That is why Buddha means the one who has awareness of it. Baddha in the other one side is the one who has no awareness of it. So no awareness is bondage, awareness is liberation. So Buddha means liberated. Why? Because aware. He is aware. He can see through the falsity of the world. And therefore does not get too involved with anything. Just behaves as it needs to behave. And nothing more than that. So this is why it is. And one shloka from our Kathopanishad also comes. It says, Na samparaya patibhati balam pramadyatam vittam mohena mudam ayam loko nasti paraiti mani puna puna vashamapadyate me. When the little boy Nachiketa is arguing with Lord Yama, the Lord of Death, to know about the truth after death, what happens. That time when he explains this, that these are people in this world who think this world is all that is. There is nothing beyond this. This is all it is. As we call it, the generation is called YOLO. You only live once. And so make the best of it, enjoy every moment, live life full size and all that nonsense that they talk about. Then people just plunge headlong into all the pleasures of the world. As much as they can consume, they want to consume. Till they drop dead, they shop till you drop, that kind of attitude they have. But what to do with these people? Because they believe that nothing exists beyond this world. And that is why they are thought of as Bala Prama. It says, Na samparaya pratibhati balam. These kids, these children, like ignorant fellows, cannot understand. Even if I explain to them, Yama is telling, Na samparaya. They cannot understand. Pratibhati balam. It does not reveal itself to these childish people. What? Because they are so fond of vittame mohena mudam. They are so deluded. They are foolish. And they are so deluded, even if you tell them good things, they are not going to listen. Because they are so full of that ignorance, and they believe that ignorance is not ignorance. They feel they are right. So there is nothing you can teach them because their heads are full. If you tell them, no, there is more to life than just earning money and enjoying and all the time seeking pleasure, they don't believe you. Because they are enjoying it today. They don't believe it at all. And so he says, what can I do? Punha punha vashamapadyate me. They come under my control again and again. Why? Because they die, again they are born, then again they die, again they are born, again they die. That is the job of Yama Dharmaraja, to take people when they die and then put them in a next life in another womb and let them pay for all that they have done in the previous lives. And this goes on and on and on. So he says, these kid-like people, they don't understand even if I explain to them. Why? Because their minds are so full of their own ideas, all wrong ideas, that even if I teach them anything, nothing is going to go inside them. And because of which, what is the consequence? They keep coming up to me again and again. It means they keep dying. It means they're born, they die, they're born, they die. That goes on and on and on. There is no end to this, Yama says. The same thing is saying, children like people. Why? Because their evolution is only so much. They are so limited in their understanding. They are incapable of understanding this. So if you are able to sit here and understand this, it means you have learned something in your lifetimes of effort. Not just, it happened to you just like that. But again, in the same hall, everybody will understand this differently based on your own evolution. And maybe some of them will practice and experience it also. Some of it may not even come to practice it. So I'm not expecting everybody will pass with 100% marks. Like in a class, there are different levels of students. Teacher is teaching the same subject equally to all. But people learn it differently based on their capacities. So you have to have some sincerity in your efforts, Shraddhavan, and then be humble. Because unless you are humble, you cannot learn. If you think you know everything, then there is nothing that you can learn beyond that. And only arrogant people, ignorant people think they know everything. There is nothing you can teach them. Many times these big haughty fellows come to me. They are all very well established businessmen. When I sit with them, in 1 hour of interview, if there is 1 hour of interview, 55 minutes they talk. They not come here to learn anything. They've come here to only tell how much they know and how right they are. So in first 2-3 minutes, I figured this out. This is going to be a tortuous 55 minutes for me. I have to just sit through this nonsense, and this man is going to go on and on and on. And I have to respond like, oh, the tea is very nice, puts a little more sugar in it for me. They are like that, so full of themselves. So very, not just that they are just talking, they are so passionate about what they are talking. Like a child, so passionate about explaining how she made the tea and how the doll has enjoyed. And so much passion in their talking. But as a Jnani, if you look at them, what will you think of them? The child is. So that is why Jnanis can forgive people also very easily. Why? They think of their children like, in Hindi say, chota hai, bacha hai, chhod do. What is there to argue with the child? Leave it. The child says something to you, don't keep it in your heart. Why? It's a child after all. But the same person grows up, then you will teach him a lesson. So the idea is that these are childish people. They don't understand, so they go on behaving. But the one who has seen the truth, why would such a person behave like a child? No, he won't. He would get rid of these fake games of life and live in the reality. So he won't run behind his money and position and popularity and power and name and recognition. These are all childish things. Even ministers come. All their prayer is, please bless me that I get a cabinet berth. Please bless me that I become the next this, next that. And I look at them, I say, all the way you came here, you could have asked for anything, right? You could ask for Brahma Jnana, you could have asked for liberation from cycles of birth and death. You could have asked for anything. One chance you got, and what did you ask? Can I get a promotion? Can I become the next minister? Can I get this? What should I do? Child, after all, he doesn't know where he's standing and what he's asking. Okay, let good happen to you. And send them away. What can you do about it? Like that, people ask so many things. But think of the heart of the Jnani. He wants them to give the highest, but they are not ready for it. They're childlike. You can't teach them anything. Only when they grow up a little more, there is a possibility. Right now, there is no possibility. But nevertheless, Jnani is kind, does not hurt them, says nice things to them and sends them away. That is the way of the Jnani. Next is 18.8, 110 page. It says, Atma brahmeti nischitya bhava abhava cha kalpitau nishkamah kim vijanati kim brute cha karoti kim. Same thing. The one who knows his self, Atma, is Brahma itself. Jivo Brahmaiva na paraha, it is said. You yourself are that self that you are seeking. You are yourself as that pure consciousness that you are looking for. So Atma brahmeti nischitya. Nischitya is the word. Confirmedly. Convinced completely. Only such a person who is completely convinced that he is none other than the self, the pure consciousness, the divine, bhava abhavo cha kalpito. He understands that all these having or not having certain things are all imagination. In dream, even if you win lottery, you don't become rich. Even if your business collapses in the dream, you don't become poor. So what you have or what you don't have, all these are imaginations, and he doesn't pay attention to that. Nishkamaha, he becomes desireless. Such a person, kim vijanati, what is there for such a person to learn, know, evolve? Nothing. He has already reached there. What is there for this person to learn or grow from? Vijanati, kim brute, what should he speak? What is there to speak? Unnecessarily waste of word it is. What do you need to speak to people around you? There is nothing to speak, nothing to add. That is why when these people come for that 1 hour interview, I say nothing to speak. What should I speak to these people? Even if I open my mouth, they are going to attack me back saying that, no, Swamiji, you don't know, this is how it is. I keep quiet, okay, you carry on. Once the time gets over, we are okay, hi. They feel very happy, they have enlightened me and gone, they think. I also allow them that joy of feeling good. At least they'll have good memories of coming here. I don't argue with them, I don't try to correct them, I don't want to set them right. Once I did that and I lost so much of peace of mind, they came and destroyed my peace. Because they are like that. See, their nature is like that. They are restless, they'll make you also restless in their company. That is what they do. He was arguing me about how Rama was wrong in abandoning Sita. That was the argument. And so vehemently and so arrogantly and so passionately, he was fighting for Sita's rights. and saying, no, this was wrong. Rama knew she was right. Then also he removed her from the palace. He made her go through fire test, and then also he removed her from the palace. And she was pregnant. And then I told, have you read Valmiki Ramayana? He said, no. Then where do you know all these things from? No, all these things they have heard from here and there, right? Narratives. I said, go read Valmiki Ramayana. Rama did not, throw her out of the house in the middle of the night, kick her and go. No, these kind of imaginations don't have, please. This is not how regular men do things to their wives. He calls Lakshmana and says, see, there is a rumor going around. My spies who go around the country and bring me the news of what is happening, they have come and informed me that there are people talking like this about the character of Mother Sita. What shall we do? I don't think it is right, because I am a king and I have to maintain the peace and harmony in the kingdom. And those 10 kingdoms were so vast, and you have no communication. You can't go and tell the last person, and rumors anyway spread very fast. So there was no way he could have gone and given a clarification to everybody, door to door. Not possible for a king. So he said, it's better that we tell Mother you take Mother Sita. She was very desirous of visiting some of the ashram of the saints and sages, because she was carrying, that time the twins in her womb. And generally, like women during those times of pregnancy want to visit temples, involved in something spiritual. So she also wants to go. Would you please drop her to the other side of Saryu, where there is the ashram of Valmiki? He gives instructions and sends. It's not that he drags her out of the house and throws her on the street and all these imaginary things. So she is nicely put in the chariot. Lakshmana knows the truth, but he doesn't tell Sita. He had no heart to tell, because Rama also does not tell Sita, because he knows if he tells Sita then in the palace, she might not accept it. She would think it was unfair at that moment of emotions. She might not accept it, and that would not be right. So Rama quietly sends her away, saying, tell her that you are taking her to the Rishi's ashram as she has always desired. And so Lakshmana goes there. When he drops her on the other side, then he tells her, see, this is what has happened. People are talking, therefore Rama said to drop you here. And I have no further instructions. She asks, so what next? She says, I have no further instructions. Whether to pick you up after some days or months or years, I have no instructions. Then first reaction of Sita, like any woman in distress, is anger, frustration, and she does even say harsh things, which is natural. It's a reaction to that shocking news. But eventually she gains composure, she gains balance over her emotions, and then she says, no, I understand. Rama is the father for the whole kingdom, not just for my children. And I am supposed to be a wife of Rama, and I am the mother to the whole kingdom. So as father and mother, we have to do good for everyone. And not just think of, if a mother has still 10 children, she has to think of everybody's welfare. For the sake of one, she cannot sacrifice 9 others. So she says, yes, I understand his heart. He is right, he cannot be wrong. And so I accept this as my fate. And this is what is good, and this is what Rama's will is, so be it. And then Lakshmana leaves and goes away. And when she is sitting there and crying, listening to her cries, those ashram people, Valmiki's ashram people who were there collecting flowers or gathering fruits for the pujas, they hear some lady sobbing. So they come to her and tell what is it about, and then she explains, and they take her, they go and report to Valmiki, who is the head of the ashrama, that this is what is, there is a lady sitting there and crying, what shall we do? She seems to be pregnant. Valmiki says, please bring her here. He knows who she is. And bring her here. And then she is brought to the ashram, and then Valmiki says, I will look after you. You stay at the ashram, and we will look after you. So understand the depth of it. Not knowing anything, sitting in some country, reading from some person who has never even opened one page of Ramayanam, and then making your false narratives and spreading that rumor everywhere and causing so much of confusion about Rama's character. How right is it? Not at all. Not at all. But as I said, I got into that argument for 2 hours. I was trying to explain. Only after so much of tension and the heat in the room and all these harsh exchanges, finally realized I better shut up, because he's not going to shut up. He wants to win the argument. So I just kept quiet. I said, this is how it is. There is a Raja Dharma. I think somebody intervened and said, no, Raja Dharma is greater than Pati Dharma. The king's responsibility is greater than the responsibility of a husband. So he was right and all that. And finally, because there was no time, we concluded and left. But that taught me a big lesson. taught me a big lesson. Don't try to explain to people who are not ready to listen. They have no humility. They're so full of themselves. They think they know everything. They don't need anybody to tell anything. So after that, anybody of that nature comes to my room. It could be about anything. It could be about the politics of the place, of what is going on in the country, or geopolitics of the world, who is right, who is wrong. Or is it about religious conflicts and which religion is superior and which is not? What are the lacunae in Hindu dharma or this dharma? I just listen. I don't give my opinion to such people because they're so opinionated and biased, so prejudiced. You can't teach them anything. They're like full of themselves, as that Zen story says. He starts pouring tea in a cup which was already full, and the tea starts overflowing. The disciple says, "What are you doing? It's all getting wasted." He said, "That is exactly your situation. Your mind is already full of your ideas. What can I teach you? First you empty your cup and come." So these people, the jnanis, don't argue with such people. They leave it at that. And then what happens? These people already know what is the truth, what is not the truth. So why should they go and argue? As somebody says, see, the one who is willing to believe, no proof is required. The one who is not willing to believe, no proof is sufficient. How many other proofs he is not going to believe. The one who believes does not need enough proof. Just once you say, he'll believe. So no point. So these people have understood that everything is self. They are nothing but the pure consciousness, untouched, unblemished, changeless, unmodified, effortless. And so how do they live? Everything they see as imagination. So what is there to gain? What is there to lose? What is there to achieve? What is there to lose or fail in? This is all imagination. They leave it at that. And nishkama, therefore they are desireless. What to desire? In a dream, do you want to desire? No, I should have been riding a horse. Why am I riding a donkey? That's not going to change the dream any which ways. So they don't desire because it is not real. So what is there to desire? And what is there to speak? Kim brute. What is there to argue and speak and discuss with people? Discussing about a dream, what use is it? It's fiction, it's not real. So what is the point in spending time on something that never existed? It's like the snake and the rope, the story of how this person thinks there is a snake instead of rope and then starts fearing, and then somebody says, no, there is no snake at all, this is only a rope, look at it, it puts some torchlight and shows. But he says, no, right now it is a rope, but a while ago there was a snake here. And now you argue and argue. How much ever you explain, no, snake is there, it must have gone into the bushes. I said, there is never a snake. So this Jnani says, what is there to argue with these people who are anyway not going to agree that there was never a snake? Would continue to argue that even though now it is a rope, but exactly the same size, same length, same type, one snake was there a while ago. What can you argue with them? Leave it, keep quiet. Na brute, kim brute cha karoti kim. What should he do about it? Should he go and search for the snake in the bush which never existed? And how else should he prove to a fool that this was an imagination? It was not real. He cannot. So he leaves it at that. That's why wise people are always very quiet. Only these unwise people are very talkative. Easily you can make out from people by how much they talk means unnecessarily, not like while teaching, but unnecessarily. From that you come to know how wise they are. Only empty vessels make noise. And so I told some of our students who became interns and they became teachers, first thing you should do is maintain as much silence as possible. Everybody will think you are very wise and they will listen to you. If you go on chattering, some people think I should be friendly with everybody, every student should have access to me, I should be approachable, and then they keep becoming friends and chat, nobody respects them. You gain respect when you talk less. When you talk too much, nobody respects you. You may be very popular. They may like to hang around with you only to get some juicy gossips out of you, nothing else. But nobody respects if you talk unnecessarily or too much. So talk less, talk little, talk only when there is necessity. And otherwise keep quiet. That is the best way to deal with the world. Why? Because everything is imagination. What is there to discuss about a snake that never existed? What was the species? What was its genes? Or whatever family it comes from? Whether it was poisonous, non-poisonous. What is this discussion? When there was no snake, what is this wasteful discussion? What are you spending your time on arguing about who is rich, who is poor, who is popular, who is unpopular, which scandal who got into, what kind of rumors are spreading in there? What is the use of discussing all these of people's issues and people's lives? Is it like discussing an imaginary snake? There is no point. That is why the Jnani says, you discuss, I am not interested. I stay away from all these things. Because they don't find it interesting at all, because there is no substance in all these discussions. And when there is no substance, then what is there to do about it? No, let us transform everybody. Let us go and give them Jnana. No, you will lose your peace also. Some students asked me, we were going for holidays, Swamiji, I want to go and meet my old friends and transform them all. I told, as long as you don't get transformed after meeting them, I'll be very happy. Please don't do all these stunts. First of all, you are not steady. Have you learned how to swim? You don't know, but you want to jump in and save somebody who is drowning. Both of you are going to drown. Ande naiva niyamana yathanda, blind leading the blind. Don't do that. First you study yourself, you become strong, then you can transform and support others. Otherwise they'll shake your convictions. Then you will come back arguing with me only about things that I have taught you so much, but now somebody poisoned your mind with some other ideas. Now you will come and argue with your own guru. So don't do that. That's why these jnanis stay away from unnecessary crowds, unnecessary discussions, unnecessary topics. If they find time, they'll go and enjoy solitude. That we earlier we said that aloneness. They enjoy their solitude. Leave it to them, they're happy. And what else they do? In that time they'll contemplate on the truth or simply enjoy watching everything as the very self. Like I enjoy a lot when I see the nature. I was telling the other day also to somebody, so much of beauty and so much of wisdom in nature. Look at this, I wake up, I see the Nandi Hills. Someday it is fully covered by clouds, as if it doesn't exist. There is so much of fog in the morning or sometimes clouds. You don't see at all the Nandi Hills. You wake up to an absolute blank outside. But does it mean the Nandi Hill has disappeared? No, it is just a matter of time. When sun shines, then this mist and all that disappears, then you really see the hill back. The haze goes away and the reality dawns. So I learn. What is the lesson? So many times our mind gets clouded by our own ideas, doubts, apprehensions, prejudices. We don't see the truth. In those times, wait for some time. Wait for some time. Don't act in a haste. Let some time pass. Collect yourself, calm yourself, and then you will see the reality, and then you accordingly behave. It's a simple example. But it does work everywhere. In all places, I keep watching how things, that the other way I was mentioning to our Assisi people, that when I come to Assisi, I look outside the window, I see the great big Mount Subasio, which is a sacred mountain in Assisi, where I believe St. Francis used to go and spend time meditating. And then I open the window, I look at the mountain, I look at this mountain, I see it never moved from its place. It always stays steady. All the people might have come and gone, armies came, fought wars, so many things happened. It remained like that only. Then I go to Fiji, I see the ashram, there is a sea outside. It's always moving, never steady even for a second. Continuously, night and day. Ever since it was formed, it has never stayed steady for 1 second. But that is also nature. Look at the variety in nature. One side it is unsteady, always keeps moving. The other side it is always steady, never moves. Both are divinity. Chara, achara. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkinchat jagat, jagatyam jagata. Whatever is there in this world, chara, achara, everything is divinity. The moving sea is also divine. The unmoving mountain is also divine. Divinity is everywhere in everything. So many things to learn. The variety in the nature. Enjoy your solitude. No, why do you have to pick up your phone and scroll unnecessarily? Why do you have to go and chat with somebody, go to another room to start a gossip? And worse still, carry rumors and scandals all around the place. Waste your time, energy, and waste others' time, energy also. Why do you need to do that? Enjoy your solitude. Enjoy your own aloneness. If you can't keep company of yourself, who will be willing to be with you? You must be a very, very terrible person, because you can't sit with yourself for 5 minutes. You need a phone to survive. That is why one experiment you can do. How much you are capable of any sadhana, get rid of your phones, get rid of everything. Lock yourself in a room, sit by yourself. No books, no phones, nothing to see, nothing to watch, nothing to enjoy, nothing to do. Just you and yourself. And see how long can you sit. And I can guarantee you, more than 5 minutes you will feel you will go mad. Something is itching to something I should do. Why? Because you never known the purity and the joy of solitude, which the jnanis know. Once a Himalayan master was living, he lived all by himself alone. One day some curious trekker landed up there. And he came to this master and said, "You've been living alone for so many years." He said, "So you must be feeling very lonely." He said, "So far I was not feeling lonely, but now I am feeling after you arrived here. So far I was very happy. Now you arrived and disturbed everything." So that is how they are. These people think, what is there to discuss and do here? Everything is fake and imagination. What is there to spend time on all these things? It's a wasteful effort. So they don't really do anything. Then why are you doing this? Hospitals, schools, colleges, universities? This is destiny. Destiny is different. So see, Krishna says, Anapeksha Shuchir Dakshaha Udasino Gatavyataha Sarvaramba Parityagi Yomad Bhaktas Samay Priyaha. The one who has no desires, Anapekshaha Shuchihi, he is pure because there is nothing to desire, so there is nothing to do for it. Only when you start doing things, thinking things, that is when impurity comes. Left to yourselves, you are pure. When you are in deep sleep state, you are pure. So like that, they are pure. Anapeksha Shuchihi, Daksha, but they are very capable. If they want to do something, if something needs to be done, they will do it nevertheless. It doesn't mean they are incapable, so they are running away from things. Dakshaha, dexterous. Udasinaha, they are as if disinterested, sad about everything. They appear to be sadistic or pessimistic, appear like that, no enthusiasm in life. But they are not like that, they appear to be like that. Tell them, no, new movie is released, let's go. You go, I'm not interested. What is this? You don't enjoy anything. What kind of life you are living? People think of them like that, but they are happy within themselves. Leaving them alone, they are happy. Udasinaha, gatavyataha, whatever has come and gone, they don't care about it. We brood over the past, we struggle about our present, and we worry about our future. They don't have all these things. They are here and now, that's it. What has happened. What is going to happen, it will happen. Today I am here, I am happy. Udasino gatavyataha sarvaramba parityagi. They are not the initiators of anything. They don't initiate hospitals, schools, colleges, Annapurna, nothing. Then who does all these things? Divinely destined. It happens through them. Not happens because of them. They don't take the doership or ownership or enjoyership of it. What's meant to happen, happens. That is why they are courageous. Because when you think you are responsible for things, then you will lose all the courage. You will feel afraid. But they don't feel afraid because they don't feel it is theirs. So why worry about it? So that is how Sarvaramba Parityagi, because they understand whatever we do, it's like writing in water. Will it stay? It won't. So why keep struggling to write on water? Many children play in water, right? They try to write. It doesn't work. Even writing on sand doesn't work, right? It doesn't stay. So they don't bother about it. But if they need to play along, okay, there is a tea ceremony, you must participate, they'll play along without having to discuss too much about it. For that moment, they live, they do what is needed to be done. Such a life is the life of a jnani, which is very, very free. So our scriptures say, Jananapi medhavi jadvat lokam acharet. Knowing that this is all fake, they behave as if they are dullards, they are dim-witted, they are fools, they act like one. Because if they act like wise, then people will drag them into the world. So they act like they are fools, they don't understand anything, they don't have brains to appreciate whatever is happening, or they are dull-witted, dim-witted. They behave like that. But they are not like that. They are very intelligent. They know why get caught into this nonsense of the world. Rather stay steady and away from all this. Like Jada Bharata of the Bhagavatam we know. The King Bharata who went to the forest and then he tried to meditate, but he saw a small deer, a fawn, and fell in love or attachment with that fawn and started caring for it. And one day the fawn disappeared. He thought of the fawn all the time, oh, if a lion has eaten it or what has happened, and he died and was born as a deer in the next life. But there were good deeds of the past which made him go to the ashram of a rishi. There he lived and ate dry leaves and only listened to the scriptures. What happened? Something is wrong. I think these lights have been working too hard for the last 87 days. They all need a break. So do I. So this Bharata goes and becomes a deer, and then deer again is reborn as a man in a Brahmin's family. And he is the second wife's son, last in 9 of them. And is very dull-witted. But he remembers everything, all of his past. But he acts as if he knows nothing. When the brothers tell him go and work in the field, he will just do the opposite. So the wives of their brothers, the sister-in-laws get fed up with him. They just give him the burnt food, what is left over, they would give him all the tasteless, insipid stuff, in which there will be even insects, worms, that kind of food they will give him. He will eat that only. And they will, naturally, because he's such a dull-witted fellow, nobody would marry him, so he's free from the entanglements of married life. He's free. And that's Bharata, once he's sitting and guarding the fields in the night. when a bunch of dacoits captured him because they wanted to sacrifice a man to please the mother, the goddess, which was their ritual. So instead of animal, they wanted a man that day. And they took Jadabharata to sacrifice, but the mother goddess becomes very angry because Jadabharata is a jnani. He's behaving like a fool, but he's not a fool. She knows. So she, with her retinue of all those goddesses, she finishes off all the dacoits and releases Bharata. And then Jadabharata comes out again, he's sitting by the side of the road when the king's retinue is passing and somebody needs to carry the palanquin because one of the person was old. So they were looking for a young man with an able body. So they pick up Bharata and tell you carry the palanquin. So he becomes one of the 4 carriers of the palanquin. But then he keeps hopping and jumping to avoid stepping on the ants and insects on the road, because of which the palanquin keeps shaking and the king gets very upset. And he tries to scold him, insult him, all kinds of things he says. Oh, you are a very old man, I know, that's why you are not able to carry the palanquin after all, and such sarcastic things. But Jadabharata is unmoved by all the ridicule. And afterwards, when the king gets angry, he cuts out of the palanquin and yells at him. Then he says, are you even a king? You are not even compassionate to the small creatures who can't speak for themselves. What you will take care of the kingdom? Then he says, oh, this fellow looked like a very dull, dirty, and unkempt, and disheveled, and fool-like person. And suddenly he is speaking such wisdom. Who are you, he asks. Then he explains, I am your ancestor, I am Bharata, whose lineage you are born in. And here he tells all the story and then he gives him all the wisdom. The idea is that they behave like fools. Why? Because they don't want to be engaged in the world. If they behave like intelligent people, they'll become popular, people will associate with them, drag them into all kinds of projects and plannings. So they, on purpose, don't do things correctly. They don't want to do things correctly, so that they're never told to do it again. Husbands are known for such behavior. When wives tell them, why don't you today look after the children? They will look after them so badly that the wife will say, never again you should look after the child. That's exactly what they wanted. They achieve it, and wives are fools, they believe it. Someday, why don't you cook today? They'll cook so badly, even if they know how to cook nicely. They'll cook so badly and make a mess of the kitchen that wife would say, never enter the kitchen again. That's exactly what they want. So they are very clever. They behave like Jadabharata. And wives get fooled thinking that my husband is no good. I only will cook, I will only clean, I will only look after the children. Let him not come anywhere near. But that's how they escape all the responsibilities. So this is how these jnanis behave. They behave as if they know nothing. Give them anything, they'll make a mess of it. And then what happens? Agyanis will say, we don't want you, get out from here. That's exactly what they want. Get out from there. They don't want to engage in anything. So that is the way of the jnanis. Shloka 18.9, page number 115. It says, Ayam soham ayam naham iti kshina vikalpana sarvamatmeti nischitya tushnim bhutasya yoginaha. The yogis, the realized ones, what is their nature? They are ever satisfied. Tushnim bhutasya. They are ever satisfied in whatever situations they are in. They have no problem. Why? Because everything is self. Sarvam atmeti nischitya. Completely they believe that everything is self. What is there to gain? What is there to lose? Everything is one and the same. So he says, I am soham, I am naham. I am this, I am not that. This idea that I am this and that comes when there are two. This and that. For them there are no two. Everything is one and the same. Suppose you enter a room full of mirrors and look at your image, reflection in all the mirrors. Would you prefer this over that? Would you like this over that? You'll say everything is me only in this. All the mirrors are reflecting me. So where is the question of choosing one over the other? All are right, all are same. But a dog enters the same room full of mirrors, it thinks all are other dogs. Oh, this is me and those are other dogs, they're attacking me. And it starts barking. The more it barks, the more the mirror dogs bark back at him. And this goes on till he runs away from the room. There is no peace for the dog. But the man who enters the room, looks at the mirror, he enjoys himself. Oh, I look different, my hair is like this. Imagine a woman enters the room, she will never come out of the room full of mirrors. She's never done admiring herself. Because she knows all this is me, this is not another woman in the room. But the dog does not understand. That is the difference between Jnani and Ajnani. Jnani enters the world, sees everything as divine. Everyone is divine. So he has no problem. Who is saint, who is sinner, who is good, who is bad, none of these matter to him. Ajnani enters, he is good, he is bad. He is rich, he is poor. He is good looking, he is ugly. All these differences come to him. And they are all different from me. That is the first difference. And Agyani, whole life like the dog, he goes on barking at those images, barking at everybody, fighting with everybody. All kinds of nonsense he does. Till he dies, this nonsense does not end. Like till the dog disappears or runs away from the room, his problem does not end. Like this, the Agyani go on living a wrong life and suffer all through their life and make everybody else also suffer around them. That is the worst part. You suffer, it's your choice. You make everybody suffer because of your foolishness. That is the problem with Agyanis. So here he says, this man is ever satisfied, tushnim, yoginaha. He is a yogi. Why? Because he sees one only everywhere. Where everybody sees multiple things, he sees the oneness. Again, as I said, it is not a physical oneness. It is the oneness of the self, the same consciousness that he experiences. That is how these Gyanis are able to accept everything. They are not rejecting anything. Because in everything there is consciousness. But people behave bad or good. That is their mind. Gunaha guneshu vartantaha iti matva na sajjate. The Gyanis are not disturbed by people's behavior. Why? Because they know at the end it is same consciousness, same self. It looks different. Why? Because their minds are different. Minds which are clouded or colored by their own perception of things, by various circumstances in which they are born and they have grown up, by the company that they keep, by the kind of education they have had, the social circumstances in which they live. All this is the reason why they behave differently. So they see through that falsity, that this behavior is superficial. Deep under is the same consciousness. That is why they have no problem. Like fashion jewelry is there. Different women like different kind of jewelry. The gold merchant has no problem. As long as he sells the jewelry, he is happy. He is never going to bother, oh, this woman likes this bangle, that woman likes another style. He has no problem with that. He is interested in how much gold are they buying. This is a 10 gram of gold bangle. This will cost so much and I will make so much of profit. That is all his interest is. The woman who comes to buy, she will say this design is better, that is an old design, this is a new one, show me something different, show me something unique. He will show it to everybody. Because he has no problem with the designs. He is only interested in how much gold he has sold and how much profit he has made today. The design is the problem of the buyer. Seller has no problem. Likewise, these Gyanis have no problem with anything. They are okay anywhere, anything is okay. Because they are only seeing the self. Others are seeing the modifications of it, like the gold modified into bangle or a necklace or a whatever. Because of that, they are having different opinions about that item. But the jeweler is only interested in the weight of the gold and the price that he is selling it for. That's all. So Gyani only sees that oneness and focuses only on that, whereas Agyanis behave in different ways. So when I have to see people with different behavior, what do I have to do? I have to think like that. They are all divine only. But because of this Bala Vikshepa Avarana, they are behaving this way. So what should we do? We also behave accordingly. If she serves me fake tea, I will also drink and respond to it fake response I have to give. Same thing when children misbehave, that I have to also act on it because there is a part of the institution building. You have to do all these things. But in your heart, you don't carry hatred. In your heart, you don't carry malice. In your heart, you don't carry prejudices. That is how a Gyani should be. Should do what needs to be done as a part of the societal requirement. But inside you, you are blemishless, you are pure, you are undisturbed, you are unchanged. So you can ask me, do I really remain like that? I try my best. As I said, if you are sitting in a boat and somebody is rocking the boat, you also will rock along with, even though you are not rocking the boat in the first place. But because you are part of the boat, some disturbance will come to you also. So when things go wrong, the little disturbance comes to me also. But then the difference between a Gyani and a Gyani is, a Gyani will never come out of it. They can't recover from such a tragedy or disturbance. Gyanis recover very fast. That is the only difference. Do they not go through the motions of life? They go through it. Don't they get disturbed? Yes. It's like one day I went to some place. They said, Swamiji, do you really feel hungry and sleepy? I said, why do you think I won't feel like that? He said, no, you're a Gyani. You know, Gyanis don't have any body consciousness. So no hunger and no sleep. I said, who said that? No, where these constructs, these ideas have been created? Gyani does not feel hunger. Gyani does not need to sleep. Who said this? I said. Then he said, do you get angry? I said, I do get angry. Oh, Gyanis are not supposed to get angry at all. Then I asked, you give me a list of what all Gyanis are supposed to do, I will try to behave accordingly. I said, these are all natural. What is natural to the body and mind, they also go through it. But they know how to handle it. Agyanis cannot handle it. Gyanis can handle it. Yes, they also feel hungry, but they just don't eat mindlessly, not for the sake of pleasing their tongues. They eat what is necessary, appropriate for the time and situation. Don't they sleep? They sleep. They don't sleep endlessly, Kumbhakarna like. Or when they're awake, they cannot sleep some people, insomnia. The other are sleeping and cannot wake up. They don't have this problem. Yukta ahara viharasya is the way of the jnani. Yukta swapna avabodhasya. In everything there is moderation. Moderation is the way of the jnani. What is called golden mean or the middle path Buddha used to preach. That is the way of the jnani. They are not extremists. They are moderate in their behavior. So do they feel hunger? Yes, they do feel hunger. So do they eat? Yes. What do they eat? Whatever is right, appropriate, they eat. They don't overeat, they don't undereat. Do they sleep? Yes, of course they do sleep. How much do they sleep? As much as necessary. One day I went to US, somebody said, Swamiji, do you sleep only for 4 hours? I said, why do you think so? No, yogis only sleep for 4 hours. I said, yeah, the yogis sleep for less time because they conserved all the energy. So their body needs little rest compared to a thing. But I am not living that life of a yogi, no. I am also working like a social worker. I travel, I meet people, I do so many projects. So I do get exhausted. I need a little more sleep than 4 hours. Oh, you're not a yogi. The first look on her face was, I landed up in the wrong satsang. These are some false narratives and constructs of how the spiritual people should be, which is not true. That's why you have to be one to know one. That is the whole idea. You can't imagine one. And you know some jnanis. So no, there are jnanis who sleep on a bed of thorns. So should I sleep on a bed of thorn to prove that I'm a jnani? Or bed of nails. If you go to Himalayas, actually if you go to Kumbh Mela, you will see all kinds of drama. I'm not saying they may be genuine in their own way. No, there are stalls and tents. People go to have darshan of these people. Who are these people? Somebody would have pierced the rod through his tongue. Somebody would have been sleeping on a bed of nails. Somebody else will be doing something as lighting fire all around and sitting in the center. And all these devotees go to fall at their feet. Because they think, oh, this is supernatural, how can they do that? But the real jnani is not interested in all these things. These are ajnanis only in some way. To show off some little powers that they have. As Ramakrishna Paramsa once was sitting and teaching, and somebody came walking on the water from the other side of the river, Ganges. And once he came here, he announced his presence because he wanted himself to be acknowledged. And Sri Ramakrishna simply ignored him. And then he made a little noise and said, did you see? I came just now. We all saw. No, did you see? Did you notice that I walked on the water and came? Yes, we all saw, we noticed. He was surprised that nobody is surprised here. He said, oh, that's a siddhi that I have. Oh, then Ramakrishna asked, how many years did it take for you to learn to walk on water? He said, 25 years I have practiced walking on water and now I am a siddha. He said, oh, 25 years you wasted. You could have given 25 paisa to the boatman. He would have brought you to this side. 25 years you wasted doing this nonsense. So ajnanis are like that. They get interested in all these external shows. The jnanis are not interested in these things. The jnanis are interested in their solitude, their aloneness, their peace and equanimity. They don't want that to be disturbed unnecessarily. So they stay away generally from crowds. But at the same time, if they're asked to do what needs to be done divinely, what has been given to them, they do it. As Nelson Mandela used to say, sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. And you may be that generation, he says. Sometimes it's not a choice that you make that I want to do or I don't want to do. Whatever comes, yadayat kartum hayati, whatever comes your way as divinely destined, you just deal with it, that's it. Without getting too attached or too detached from anything. So keeping the balance, that middle path there. So this idea that I am this, I am that, or I am not this, I am not that, that imagination, that choice of I want to do this, I don't want to do this, has become kshina, become feeble, weak in such people. Whatever is destined to be done, they do it and they have no problem with it. Some people, as I said, I give a job, they love it, and they just don't want to change the job after. After some time, I tell, no, you have to change, there is something else needs to be done, you shift to another department. They're so sad and they get angry. Same people were very happy with me till a moment before, they get upset a moment later because their job is being changed or they're being moved. But jnani is not like this. Wherever, whatever is needed to be done, they do it and they're happy. They don't have attachments and detachments. If you attach only, you have to detach, right? They are never attached to anything. There is nothing called detachment for them. They are free, all the time free. Muktaha Sanathana. Always free. So they don't mind. You shift them from here to there to here, they don't mind. Of course, they might have to learn a few things to do the next thing. But that is okay. They are ready to learn. They are not rigid. They are flexible. They are adaptable. They don't become rigid and insistent. No, I have to be this way only. I can't be another way. And some people now take this excuse. This is even terrible. They tell me, I am like this only. I cannot do anything else. God has created me like this only. This is the worst excuse. Put God also into your excuses. I can't do anything. I am like this only. God has made me like this. What is my fault? I told you, God never made anybody like God. Made everybody like God. And God means flexibility, adaptability, openness, freedom, no attachment, no detachment. You are none of these. You are so attached, rigid, insistent, particular. This is not God. So don't tell me that God created you. Somebody else must have created you. God can't make such heavy mistakes. So the idea is that people are like that. But a jnani is free, ever free, not just once free, once for all free. So that's why jnani can do anything. Many times in the beginning I used to resist. I don't want to go to this person's house. I don't like them. I don't want to live there. I don't like this. I don't want to go to that country. I don't want. All these ideas were there in my head. Whatever was convenient and easy for me, I wanted to do that. Whatever was difficult and painful, I wanted to avoid. But then over a period I realized this is not a choice that I can make. And I shouldn't. It should just flow. As it comes, it should flow. Imagine this is 10, 12 years. Every single day, whatever the schedule is, whatever the travel plans are, what needs to be done, spoken, nobody is planning it. It is just coming. It comes to you. Okay, we are traveling. Today I was telling we are traveling between January 1st and January 10th to Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore. I'm going to take a lot of our people who have worked very hard for these 100 days. They need a break, a little outing. So now who tells me that on January 1st we'll do the on? It flows. It flows for a jnani. That's why a jnani will not take credit for anything. Even if you credit him with things, he would maybe humbly accept it, because even trying not to accept it is also not necessary. At the same time, he won't also take the blame for anything, because it was not him in the first place who did this. So both ways it works for the jnani. There are many things don't happen. Many things don't happen the way we want, but that also we accept it. Why? Because that's how it is. So some people come and ask me, you said this, it did not happen. Now what does that mean? So really you have lost your powers? Have you lost your whatever siddhis of being capable to manifest this, manifest that? I told 99 things have manifested. Did you not see all that? This one thing did not manifest is bothering you? No, that is okay, but why this one thing did not manifest? I said, it was not supposed to manifest so that some fellow like you will doubt me and then won't bug me afterwards because you will leave me. That is why one is kept always like that. It's a trap. They bother me like this. I say, I have no idea why it didn't happen. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen. If it happens, it will happen. Many people are asking, what happened to the Shiva project? You started, again it's not moving. I told, that's not my job. That Shiva has to decide when he wants to do that project, why he does not want to do the project. Now we have got into a new issue. It says, Shivoham is a religious project. Why a charity is undertaking this? So the authorities are questioning us. Maybe Shiva wanted us to know that before we built it up and got into some issue. So now we have to sort of present it correctly. It is not just a religious thing. It is historical and cultural and spiritual. Multiple ways you have to look at Shivoham. You can't just look at it as a statue being made by a religious trust. Because Prashanti Bal Mandir is not a religious trust. I agree to that. But then Shivoham is not just a religious statue. It stands as a symbol of cultural presence of India. It stands as a symbol of philosophy. And also there is an auditorium which is a museum come, a lecture hall come, a conference setup come, so many things which is going to be used for spreading the knowledge of Indian systems. What is wrong in that? So this is how. Already questions. Somebody will write something to the authorities because they have no work to do. I said, they keep doing that all the time. Now because of that you come and say, oh, you could not think of it before starting. Why are you now worrying? I told, this is how it was meant to be. That is why it is going on like this. What can I do about it? Now I have to deal with it. I'll deal with it. That's it. What can I do about it? If they tell tomorrow, no, you are not allowed to build the Shivam statue under this trust, okay, we will not build, we'll build another whatever necessity. If we can explain and get over it, that's fine. Yadayat kartum ayati. However it comes, like a river which flows. It is not bothered about which mountain is in front of it, how many trees are there. It finds its way around things and goes. It doesn't insist, all these should be cleared from my path, only then I will continue to flow. It's interested in reaching the ocean. It's not bothered about which path it takes. Whichever path of least resistance it gets, it takes that path and goes. It doesn't fight with things. It doesn't fight with people, does not fight with circumstances. It makes peace with it and finds a way around it. So what it is a little longer, let it be. Whereas Agyan is fight at every situation. Why this happened to me only? Why all these troubles to me only? Why people are, they keep on complaining. They never can get over that, because even if things get better, they'll find some reason to be sad and again angry about things. So these people are not like this. Because why? These are yoginaha, because they have established themselves in the ultimate self. And that is why they are able to do that. They live a moderate life. In Kabir Das one doha is this, Ati ka bhala na bolna, ati ki bhali na chup, ati ka bhala na barasana, ati ki bhali na dhoop. Extremes have to be avoided. Extreme talking is no good. Extremely being silent is also no good. Then extreme heat is also no good. Sun is also no good. Extreme rain is also no good. Everything in moderation is the right way of leading a life. And yogis know the balance. Yoga is basically that balance that you should maintain. How much and not more. That balance, the one who knows, he is truly a yogi. Such a person never goes into extremes. Last one we'll take up 18.11. It says, Swarajye bhaiksha vrittau cha labha alabhe jane vane nirvikalpa svabhavasya na vishesho asti yoginaha. Swarajye, when he is ruling the kingdom, he is the ruler, or bhaiksha vritto, or he is a beggar, whether he is a king or a beggar. Cha labha alabhe jane vane, whether he is profiting from things, or he is losing jane vane, whether he is amidst the crowds in the society or in a forest all alone by himself. Nirvikalpa subhavasya, the one who has no other thought in mind, no other idea of duality in mind, na vishesho asti yogina. Such a yogi has no special likes or dislikes for things. Whether he is a king one day, next day he is a beggar, whether today is rich and profitable, the other next day he is loss making and losing his fortune, whether he is popular and amidst the crowd, or whether he has been ostracized and he is living all by himself. The one who has no duality in the mind, such a person has no problem, no vishoshaha, means nothing special about being a king or being a beggar. Everything is okay. For whom? For the yogi. For the one who is established in the self, everything is okay. This attitude itself is a yoga. Very difficult, because we want things in a particular way. And some people are so particular, an inch that moves, they'll come back to put it back again. These peculiarities is not the ways of the yogi. Of course, they are perfectionists, they'll do what is right. But sometimes things are beyond your control. They'll also know how to accept that and live with it, make peace with it, and not fight it. That's why the other day, the prayer of serenity, you remember? God, give me the serenity to accept what I cannot change. Give me wisdom to change what I can. Give me the strength or courage to change what I can. And give me the wisdom to know the difference. That is how yogis live. They will change what they can, and they know they cannot change it. They don't cry and complain and say things. They just accept it. This is how this cannot be changed. Beyond that, what can I do? I tried my best with my best intentions. After that, it didn't work out. It was not meant to be. Let it be. And when it is time for it to work out, it will work out. What can I do about it? It won't happen otherwise. Likewise, even Sarla Hospital, when we started in 2015 in a small way. It was not moving at all. So many projects were happening that was stuck. So many times went back and forth, it never moved. Only when COVID came, I put my foot down and said, this hospital must come up, because there are so many people living inside the ashram. And where will they go if something goes wrong? Many are elderly, many are children. Something goes wrong. That compassion moved that hospital. Till you felt that compassion for everybody, hospital was just another project which was meant to happen but was not happening. But the moment the heart melted with compassion, I remember that night, I was in my bed trying to sleep, and I was not getting sleep because I was thinking, this COVID, we don't know what thing it is. We don't know how far this is going to go. And if people have to get admitted and there are no beds going to be available, and our people will have no place to go. They are not even rich to pay for themselves. I remember some of the people during COVID we admitted in the ICUs of the private hospitals in Bangalore. that costed us 10 to 15 lakh rupees per person. We spent almost 2 crore rupees in treatments of a few people in Bangalore. That shook me. I said, this much money if you have to spend for just saving some 10, 15 people, then what will happen if 1,000 people fall sick? Should I leave them to die or should I beg, borrow? What do I do? How do we treat them? The private hospitals are so very greedy. They will not bother. They will simply charge you for the ICU. And what are they giving you at their? Just oxygen to breathe, isn't it? For that you are charging them so much. How is it right? And that really moved my heart. Then I remember Gauri Shankar was there. He is my devil's advocate. For every project he will come and tell why we should not do it. Because he worries, how will the finances come? How will the people come? You are taking upon yourself too much of pressure. So he came. I told him, you know what? I have made up my mind that this hospital has to be complete. He said, here we are not able to pay salaries. This is COVID. Nobody is making a donation. And you want to start that project again. Don't do that, he told me. I said, but I feel deeply that it has to happen. How will you do? Where will things come from? I don't know where it will come from, but I know it has to happen because otherwise people will die. And I will not be able to help anybody because even if I have money to pay, there won't be beds in the hospital. They will die because we have seen people roaming hospital to hospital in ambulances. And some of them have lived in ambulances for 2 nights outside the hospital gates on an oxygen cylinder because there was no bed available to put them inside. What will happen? That worry, that compassion, that kindness moved things. And then suddenly, on its own, it built itself. That day I went to this site and I was there. Bharat was telling me, Swami, this is a Swayambhu hospital. This is building itself. We are just witness to it. We don't feel that we are doing it. It's happening on its own, he said. Why would a project director say such things? A project director says, Swami, pat me. I did it. You told me this much time, I did it. No, this is happening. On its own, it feels like we are effortless. Yesterday I was talking to Swati. It's 86, 87 days. She was telling me, Swami, how are you? You must be tired. I said, I should not be so tired. You must be tired more because you have to continuously receive guests, look after them. And each guest has their own peculiar requirements, fulfilling all of that. 87 days of festivities. How are you people managing? She said, I don't know, some days we sleep for just 1 hour, but we don't feel tired. We are awake next day and we are very, very happy and energetic. We don't know where all this energy is coming from. I said, that is what is purity. That is what is yoga. Whatever comes your way, you do it and you don't feel the burden and pressure and effort in it. And it's not only I who is experiencing this. See, everybody is experiencing. A project director who has such a huge project on his head is experiencing that. A guest manager who has so much to manage with difficult... See, one type of guest is one thing, in Indian guests or religious guests. These are so many countries with so many types of requirements. They are able to manage it. So also students, staff, everybody is going through what needs to happen. And nobody is feeling the burden in it. Hard work is there. Sleeplessness means less sleep is there. Sometimes you might have skipped a meal or two because of no time. All this is there. But are you feeling burdened, exhausted, tired? No. How is it possible? Because of yoga. Such a person who is established in that higher purity of the self will deal with all these lower things easily. It's a left hand, baएं हाथ का खेल, they say. That is all it is. It doesn't require more than that effort for a jnani to deal with the world. Ajnani struggle and struggle and struggle at every step. So live in this world like this, light and free. Live in this world without any attachments, so no detachments. Live in this world looking at everything as a game or a dream or an illusion and not paying too much of attention to it. Yet, when you come across those who are not as evolved, play along. Don't make them feel horrible. Don't make them feel like ignorant and fools. Make them also feel good, but at the same time don't get involved either in arguments or too much of undue praise. Both are not necessary. Go with the flow is the way of the jnani. What bhajan you have? There is one Basavana's Vachana about doership and its nature. When you feel the doership, your ego is actually beating the drums, it says, and announcing to the world that you are so egoistic because you have so much of doership. Something like that, this Vachana is.
Ah
ಮಾಡಿದೆನೆಂಬುದು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಳೆದರೆ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತ್ತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಮಾಡಿದೆನೆಂಬುದು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಳೆದರೆ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತ್ತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತ್ತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಮಾಡಿದೆನೆಂಬುದು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಳೆದರೆ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತ್ತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತ್ತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಮಾಡಿದೆನೆಂಬುದ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಳೆದರೆ ಏರಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತ್ತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೆನ್ನದಿರ ಲಿಂಗಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೆನ್ನದಿರ ಜಂಗಮಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೆನ್ನದಿರ ಲಿಂಗಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೆನ್ನದಿರ ಜಂಗಮಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೆನ್ನದಿರ ಲಿಂಗಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೆನ್ನದಿರ ಜಂಗಮಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆನೆಂಬುದು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆನೆಂಬುದು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಬೇಡಿತ್ತನೇವಾ ಮಾಡಿದೆನೆಂಬುದು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಬೇಡಿತ್ತನೇವಾ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ 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 ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ ಬೇಡಿತ್ತ ನೀವಾ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ ಬೇಡಿತ ನೀವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ ದೇವಾ ಮಾಡಿದೆನೆಂಬುದು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಳೆದರೆ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗುರ ಏಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಡಿತು ಶಿವನ ಡಂಗು ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೆನ್ನದಿರ ಲಿಂಗಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೆನ್ನದಿರ ಜಂಗಮಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೆನ್ನದಿರ ಲಿಂಗಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೆನ್ನದಿರ ಜಂಗಮಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆನೆಂಬುದು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆನೆಂಬುದು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಬೇಡಿತನೇವಾ ಬೇಡಿತನೇವಾ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ ದೇವಾ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ ದೇವಾ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ ಸರ್ವಸುಗುಣ ಸಿಂಧವೇ ಸಕಲ ಸುಜನ ಬಂಧವೇ ಸರ್ವಸುಗುಣ ಸಿಂಧವೇ ಸಕಲ ಸುಜನ ಬಂಧವೇ ಗುರವೇ ಮಧುಸೂದನಾಯ ಮಹಿತ ಮಂಗಲಂ ಸದ್ಗುರವೇ ಮಧುಸೂದನಾಯ ಮಹಿತ ಮಂಗಲಂ दीन दुखित पोषकाय दान धर्म प्रेरकाय दीन दुखित पोषकाय दान धर्म प्रेरकाय सर्वलोकहितरताय सर्वमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम् वेदनादवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय वेदनादवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय ब्रह्मज्ञानबोधकाय दिव्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम् सत्य साईनः प्रियाय सत्य प्रेम विग्रहाय सत्य साईनः प्रियाय सत्य प्रेम विग्रहाय नित्य शुद्ध निर्मलाय नित्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय दिव्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम् ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वर ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदैवमु मरियन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्राशयन ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप तेजस्वी हो साई महादेव सद्गुरु साई महादेवा मंगल हारति अंदुको मंगल हारति अंदुको मंगल गीधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय जय बोलो सद्गुरु श्री मधुसूदन साई जी की जय